Darlene Mercer always said her mother saw too much. Evelyn Mercer just thought her daughter was eccentric till the day her eyes ended up on a Little Caesar-esque pizza box. In a town where nothing ever happened, this was the crime no one could explain and no one would ever forget. Title: Woman places mother's eyes on Little Caesar's pizza box. Narration: in the quiet town of Elkhart, Nina, nothing much ever happened. People left their doors unlocked. The loudest thing on a Friday night was a high school football game. But in the fall of 2022, something happened that would shake the town and eventually the entire country to its core. It started with a pizza box. On October 17th, a teenage employee at the local Little Caesars opened the store just before 10 a.m. while restocking the prep station. He noticed a pizza box sitting oddly on the front counter. It wasn't one of theirs. The box was clean, no grease stains, perfectly folded, but marked with a red X in permanent marker. Thinking it was a prank or mistake, he opened it. Inside were two human eyes, resting neatly on a bed of wax paper. Police were called within minutes. The store was closed for the day, and investigators arrived quickly. What baffled everyone was the sheer strangeness of the crime. There was no blood, no trace of who had left the box, and no leads. The security camera above the front counter had been unplugged sometime during the night. No other equipment had been tampered with. The case, bizarre and disturbing, attracted national attention. Forensics confirmed the eyes belonged to a recently deceased woman between 60 and 70 years old. The local morgue and hospitals were checked. No one was missing any eyes yet. 3 days later, a woman named Darlene Mercer called police to report her mother missing. She said she hadn't heard from 71-year-old Evelyn Mercer in almost a week. Evelyn had been battling dementia and was last seen at home, where she lived alone. When officers visited the house, they found the front door locked and no signs of forced entry. But something was off. Inside, the air was stale. Plates were still on the table. Evelyn's medication was untouched. In the freezer, wrapped in butcher paper, was a collection of raw meat labeled with names: shoulder, rib, thigh. Only none of it looked quite right. A sample was sent to a lab. The results were chilling. The meat was human. The search for Evelyn's body turned frantic. Investigators dug through her backyard, scanned the woods, drained a nearby creek. Nothing turned up. The case broke wide open when a local librarian reported something strange. Darlene, the missing woman's daughter, had borrowed over 20 books on anatomy, embalming, and surgical removal techniques in the months leading up to her mother's disappearance. She had no background in medicine. She worked as a cashier at a gas station. When police brought Darlene in for questioning, her answers were polite, vague, and cold. She claimed her mother was traveling, but then she said something strange. She asked if the eyes were beautiful. That was enough for a search warrant. Inside Darlene's home, investigators found a locked room in the basement. What they found inside could only be described as a macabre workshop. Tools laid out in surgical order, sketches of the human body, preserved organs stored in jars, and taped to the wall an empty Little Caesar's pizza box marked with a red X. DNA confirmed the meat in Darlene's freezer had once been Evelyn Mercer. Her body had been methodically dismembered, parts preserved, others cooked and discarded. Her eyes had been carefully removed and placed on the pizza box like a grotesque offering, but the motive left everyone speechless. Darlene later confessed in a written statement she believed her mother's eyes had seen too much, that they held memories too powerful to fade. She wanted to preserve the parts that mattered, the pizza box. That was simply her favorite surface to display beauty. She had no history of mental illness, no signs of trauma, just a chilling detachment from reality. The trial was swift. Darlene was found guilty of murder, abuse of a corpse, and evidence tampering. She showed no emotion as the verdict was read. Today, the Little Caesars location where the eyes were found has closed permanently. The building remains vacant, a silent reminder of a story so bizarre it sounds made up, but it's not. Because in a sleepy Indiana town, one woman did the unthinkable. She took her mother's eyes and left them on a pizza box.